The United States of America has been one of the most powerful and influential nations in the world for over a century. Its status as a superpower was not always the case. However, the emergence of the United States as a superpower was a long and complicated process that began with the country's founding and continued through the 19th and 20th centuries. The founding of America. The founding of the United States was a critical moment in the country's history. In 1776, the American colonies declared their independence from Great Britain, creating a new nation founded on the principles of democracy and individual liberty. This move was significant because it signaled a break from the established political order and created a new system of government that was responsive to the needs and desires of the people. The United States Constitution, which was ratified in 1788, created a system of government that was unique in the world. It separated the powers of government into three branches, established a federal system of government, and protected individual rights and freedoms. This new system of government gave the United States a stable and reliable framework for growth and development, laying the foundation for the country's eventual emergence as a superpower. Westward Expansion. The 19th century saw the United States expand westward, settling new territories and building a powerful economy based on agriculture, manufacturing, and trade. The Louisiana Purchase in 1803, which added vast territory to the United States, was a critical moment in this expansion. The acquisition of California and other western territories in the mid-1800s further expanded the country's boundaries, making it one of the largest countries in the world. This westward expansion was driven by several factors. The country's population was growing rapidly, and new land was needed to accommodate this growth. The discovery of gold in California in 1848 also spurred westward migration, as people flocked to the region in search of riches. The development of the railroad system also made it easier to move people and goods across the country, facilitating trade and economic growth. Industrialization. The 19th century was also a time of significant industrialization in the United States. The country's manufacturing sector grew rapidly, driven by advances in technology and the development of new industries. This growth was fueled by the country's abundant natural resources, including coal, iron, and oil. The development of the steel industry, in particular, was critical to the country's emergence as a superpower. Steel was essential for the construction of railroads, buildings, and other infrastructure, and the United States became the world's leading producer of steel by the end of the century. This growth in manufacturing and industry laid the foundation for the country's economic dominance in the 20th century. World War I. World War I was a turning point in the United States' emergence as a superpower. When the war broke out in 1914, the United States initially remained neutral. However, as the conflict dragged on, the United States became increasingly involved. In 1917, the country declared war on Germany, joining the Allied powers in their fight against the Central Powers. The United States' entry into World War I was significant because it demonstrated the country's growing military and economic power. The United States was able to mobilize its resources quickly, sending troops and supplies to Europe to support the war effort. This support was critical to the Allied victory, and it helped establish the United States as a major player on the world stage. World War II. World War II was a defining moment in the United States' emergence as a superpower. After World War II, the United States emerged as a dominant global power. The country had played a crucial role in the Allied victory, and its military and economic strength had grown significantly. The post-war period saw the United States continue to expand its influence, both politically and economically. The Cold War. The post-war period was dominated by the Cold War, a period of tension and conflict between the United States and the Soviet Union. The United States saw the Soviet Union as a threat to its global dominance, and the two countries engaged in a series of proxy wars and diplomatic battles. The Cold War saw the United States engage in a range of military and diplomatic efforts to contain Soviet influence. These efforts included the establishment of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, a military alliance aimed at countering Soviet aggression in Europe. The United States also engaged in a series of proxy wars, including the Korean War and the Vietnam War, in which it supported anti-communist forces. Economic dominance. The post-war period also saw the United States emerge as an economic superpower. The country's manufacturing and industrial base had grown significantly during the war, and the country's economy continued to expand in the post-war period. The United States became the world's largest economy, and its economic dominance was further cemented with the establishment of the Bretton Woods system in 1944. This system established the US dollar as the global reserve currency, making it the backbone of the international financial system. Cultural influence. The post-war period also saw the United States become a cultural superpower. American music, movies, and television became popular around the world, and American brands like Coca-Cola and McDonald's became global icons. The country's cultural influence was further bolstered by the establishment of institutions like the Fulbright program, which brought scholars and artists from around the world to study and work in the United States. This cultural exchange helped spread American values and ideas around the world, further enhancing the country's soft power. Conclusion. The United States' emergence as a superpower was a long and complex process that began with the country's founding and continued through the 19th and 20th centuries. The country's stability, industrial growth, military power, and cultural influence all played a role in its rise to global dominance. While the United States has faced challenges and setbacks in the years since its emergence as a superpower, it remains one of the most powerful and influential nations in the world. Its legacy as a superpower is evident in its continued military and economic dominance, as well as its ongoing cultural influence. Thanks for watching.